Welcome to Not the 9 to 5,
the podcast for freelancers
by freelancers.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out,
join us as we share insights, tips and stories
to help you thrive in the world of independent work.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Francesca.
We are two freelancers exploring the highs, lows
and everything in between. So grab your coffee, kick back,
and let's dive into another episode of Not the 9 to 5.
Katheryn Siggers.
Francesca Marago.
How are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm really good.
Why are you so good?
I'm so excited.
What are you excited
We've
about?
got such an amazing creative in the space today. Okay, so it's Margherita Barbieri. Am I saying that right?
That's beautiful.
Thanks so much, obviously. So she's a dynamic actor, dancer and artist living in London. She draws her inspiration from the power of movement and visual storytelling.
Love that.
She appeared on screen in a Hulu production and continues to move forward as an emerging force within the industry. We are so overjoyed to have you here today. Welcome.
To be here. Thank you. Oh
Thanks
my
so
gosh.
much.
So tell us how you kind of got started as a creative.
Oh,
I know, big question.
Such
I
a
know,
big
but let's go
question.
straight
I
in.
love it. It's wild. Okay, I started as a dancer. I got taken to class with my other siblings. We all got put in the same class at the same time, and all came out. We were like, we love it, because we were such energetic, active children. And my parents were really beautiful in the way of like we would come home with like homework from school and they'd be like, no, put on a play. It's all good. You don't need to do that. Don't play in the living room. So I think they knew that we had that imagination, and I think they just needed to put that in another space. So we all went to dance classes, fell in love with that, and then dance was very much my initial get-go dream, and I wanted to be a dancer. And then through the ups and downs of life, had some time away from dance, and then when I came back to the world as a newborn person in a weird way, I found lots of other creative outlets. I'd done loads of artwork during that time, and then kind of merged my love for dance with the expression aspect of it,
right?
As opposed to just the movement, and found acting. And it's kind of one of those really unsmooth, very smooth journeys that it all kind of happened beautifully, yet there was so many like obstacles along the way to get there.
Right.
So what made you want to take up acting then? Because it sounds like you took it up after, like, what sort of age were you when you took up acting?
It was about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so when I was dancing from like a normal early-ish age, and then I stopped dancing when I was 13 when I became really unwell. And those 5 years without dance, I found things like art and poetry and like different creative outlets. And then when I got back to full health, I was able to go back to the dance world. But then lockdown happened quite shortly afterwards, and dance felt like it was taken away from me again. And in that that second breath without dance, I found acting. So it feels like every time I take a moment away from dancing, I find something else that I seem to really love.
And you say that you were taken away again from the dancing. If we go back to sort of, if you don't mind me asking,
No.
that period of time where you said it was tricky for you, do you mind telling us a little bit about that and kind of how you sort of navigated out of that to then use that in your artwork today?
Honestly,
you don't have to.
No, I want to. Ooh, sorry, Mike. I got really unwell when I was 13. I kind of got really propelled into a very like high intensity space within like just the dance
environment.
I started dancing when I was young, but it was very quickly like popped into like a very prestigious school like the Royal Ballet, and being in that energetic, very intense, everyone's there because they want to do it as a career, as opposed to just we all love it. So I think with that, the pressure and the combination of trying to navigate my own like puberty and things like that, I started blaming rejection upon my like physical self,
right?
And thought that in order to improve myself and have more chance as a dancer, I needed to conform to these like ideals in my eyes of what I needed to be.
Right.
And very much lost my footing and myself, and was ill for like 5 years, and then in recovery for about another 2 years. But coming out and being where I am now, when I'm like 7 years forward from it, it's actually scarier to think who I'd be without that happening, because I think so much of what I do, so much my intention and my character and my personality is from that contrast.
Right.
And like every beautiful thing is like amplified because of how dark it once was.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I guess we believe in everything happens for a reason, and that reason leads you to that path?
Deeper.
So do you, I was going to say, do you think that propelled you to get to where you are today?
I think that everything's a domino effect.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big domino effect of leading me into being a freelance creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could be sitting here right now and be really bitter about those 7 years of your life, but actually you've used it as such a positive, which I think, you know, a lot of people can relate to it, but also learn from it as well, because you don't want to look back and go, oh God, I wish that hadn't happened.
Completely.
You
I
know?
think being positive is also learning to be positive. I don't think I was automatically straight away like, I'm so glad that happened.
Yeah, well, of course you were.
It's kind of like reflecting on how happy I am now, and maybe thinking that if those alignments didn't happen for greater or worse, it's led me here, and with all those experiences and battles, I found my like moral compass and my values.
Yeah.
Like I really, a massive part of my life is self-connection, is loving myself, is believing in myself, because I know what happens when I don't, and how ugly that can get inside myself.
It's all about mindset. It's like where you put your mind, where you see yourself in the future, how you get there on that journey. And it's quite spiritual actually, in a way, isn't it? And I feel like from the work that we've seen that you do is very like, it's all encompassing, and it's all kind of grounded, and it's very like raw. And it's so lovely like to see that, you know, as a creative, to use your past, I suppose, as like a pivotal moment to showcase how you feel physically, you know, through movement. And people feel that, you know, we feel that when we see you and watch you, so it's so nice.
It is.
So
What's your intention then when you create work? What's your kind of overall intention as an artist?
I think to get people to feel things. I mean, everyone's going to interpret art in a different way, and everyone's perspective or lens of what they're watching will be personal to them. But I think if someone can walk away with a feeling that they've maybe never had before, like something unique and something that maybe ignites something, like whether that's for change, whether that's for like inspiration, education, entertainment, like just something that makes them feel alive, would be, I guess, my biggest intention.
I think we need more of that in the world, you know, making you feel alive, feel something, you know, and I think art's such a great way to do that, but the fact that you have that intention, I think it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
I feel like we're going to keep saying that.
I know, we're going to see that. We'll probably cry at one point or something.
Art's the greatest thing to become present with. Like, I'm never more present than when I'm creating or watching or immersed in something.
That's it.
I think that's what a lot of us need right now, is to become more present. Because I used to be stuck in the past or stuck in the future, like worrying about the future, and it's really only lately that I'm starting to indulge in just how great my life actually is right now.
Being here now.
I feel like art is part of your culture, part of your DNA in a way. Loads of people sort of neglect the arts, and they think, well, that's not practical, that's not it doesn't benefit you, but actually in all walks of life it does. People love going to the theatre, and they have no connection to the theatre, but they go to the theatre because they want to be entertained, they want to feel something, like you said. So I think that's so lovely. Like, tell us a little bit about like the other freelance avenues that you do. So you do the dance and the acting.
Well, like you both.
I
have a myriad of like, I do this. I think it's really because I don't think I can limit myself to just one thing I love. I love a lot of things. And as much as that's kind of annoying to balance your time, I couldn't imagine my life any other way than being able to like dip in and out whenever I'm fancying. And also just to kind of mesh and merge them together in lots of projects. I think that's something I've started to do quite recently and really enjoy.
So what else do you do then? You've obviously got the dance, the acting.
I dance, I act, I paint. I do poetry. I used to have a community called Warrior Talk, which was for like dancers that had eating disorders, and I used to cover their mental health therapy through like selling my leotards that had my artwork on. So again, that was a bit of a
intertwining.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I closed that down at the beginning of this year when I wanted to kind of reroute myself in like maybe a new community.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any ideas for a new community?
I think I'm so inspired by you both. I think this is just so wonderful. But I think having in-person group gatherings where everyone can just listen, talk, absorb, just actually of the arc of being a freelance creative, because it's tough, and I think that the thing that makes it easier is when we all come together and get to resonate and bounce off and uplift each other.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's so important that you said uplift each other, because lots of creative people, I don't want to say like in a negative way, but they try and look after themselves. They don't want to help other people. They don't want to share other experiences, and I think it's so important to build the connections with people, because you should be the building blocks
completely,
rather than like
completely.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's not like, you cannot think of it as a dog eat dog world anymore.
No.
Like, we cannot live that way.
No.
It's just not nice for anyone.
It's not healthy.
No.
And it just feels like everyone's out to get that one thing.
Yeah.
Completely.
And they're just using you, and it's like, why? We don't want that.
No, exactly. And it's like, and also I always think, right, if I have an opportunity that I'm not good for, but you are, I'll always share it with you.
Completely.
You know, and I think, why keep stuff to yourself?
Exactly.
I don't get it. I don't get it when people are like that.
I did that with you with that writer job the other day.
You did, and I did it with you when they were looking
Doesn't
for...
it make you feel good about yourself as well? When you help someone else? And also, like, I think it's because we are, as freelance creators, we're often up against each other for different jobs. Yet, really, if someone else gets that job, you kind of have to be happy and celebrate them for that they're more suited for it.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side, they'll do that for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really hard to navigate, especially when it means rejection, yet also celebration for someone else sometimes.
One door closes, another opens.
That's it.
Do you ever feel like you compare yourself to other people sometimes? Do you still have those seeds of doubt?
I feel like I had a really intense period of it when I did season 1 of Spellbound, the TV show. I think in that time I was quite against myself, and I thought it would be beneficial. Like I kind of thought, I'll be hard on myself to improve myself quicker.
Right.
And what that did was then make me jealous and envious of people that were maybe ahead of me as opposed to inspired. Like everything just became very negative, and I thought that was helpful. Like kind of, it probably doesn't make sense, but I'm sure it does make sense. I would like to even you guys that like to catch up, even you don't have that time to be soft or kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Yet actually it's the complete opposite, and I think that since I've started to see myself as like unique and like comparing less or just not comparing at all, and being able to take from other people without comparison, but just like they're like qualities that you want to amplify in yourself.
Yeah. I guess it's like that's sharing all, what's the word? It's like sharing love with people, you know, like loving them for who they are.
You can celebrate people
and their work,
and not necessarily make that take away from yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's enough love to go around.
Exactly.
Oh God, I don't even know what I was going to ask you.
Well, there's a question here that we like to ask. It's how do you keep connecting with your community in a world where innovation and change is constantly evolving? So like time is changing so much. When COVID hit, that just shifted everything, especially the creative industries.
Yeah.
So how do you keep up with that constant change? Like, do you feel like you need to evolve as change happens? Have you experienced that? It's a very big question.
The community is in like, the freelance community.
Yeah.
Yes, but I feel like we're always changing. Like we're always going into the caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly, and that just happens ongoingly. Like I very much thought that transformation and change was like a once in a lifetime thing, and you would just have this like caterpillar to butterfly moment, and then you'll be a butterfly forever. Yeah. It's not. You're constantly going in and out, and like having those like moments to yourself, and then coming back out into community and flying around. But I think that being connected with others is very much, it's kind of simple. It's reaching out, it's checking in, it's phone calls, messages, dance classes, acting classes, like as much, you have to take accountability for your connection with others, but also for keeping up with the ever-changing times.
Definitely.
Like when self-tapes became this massive thing. Like before I wasn't really doing auditions and things before lockdown, but I remember everyone saying like, oh, all the in-person things have gone, and it's just those kind of things, like being able to adapt to
the change
of that. And helping each other out with that as well.
Yeah, because you've always got to have someone reading the other lines, don't you? Always.
Yeah.
I've had my mum do it so many times.
I've had my mum on FaceTime.
Honestly, literally. I'm like, oh, and she's like reading, and I'm like, and she's proper going for it, and I'm like, Mum, this isn't your audition.
So you're overpowering.
Literally. She's like, you know what? They're going to be offering me a job next. They're going to be like, you know, forget that, Katheryn. Like, I want that reader for sure. Like, honestly, I feel like she wants to be an actor just a little bit. Like, she'd never admit it, but like 100%.
But she's like, have you got any self-tapes lately?
Literally. It's like, no, Mum, all right, don't remind me I've not had any auditions.
I suppose, like, as actors and doing the whole self-tape from home now, most of the time, you have to kind of find a way to showcase your personality through a screen. And it's so challenging. It's like, how do you do that when you get this script, which is like a minute long or whatever?
And there's something so exciting about an in-person audition. Like,
they see your energy. There's a natural,
like, oh, it's going to be fun.
Like,
we're going to be in person. It's going to be,
we can connect.
Trying to make self-tapes fun is a bit of a challenge. Like, I have to make a day of it and like have a really nice lunch and like, just
treat yourself.
So it's like this whole experience.
I find I as well don't have like as much of like a nervous energy, but in a good way. Like when I'm doing self-tapes, I don't get nervous. I just go, right, click it on, whatever, let's do it, bosh, done. But when I've got an in-person audition, I have that kind of like nervous, excited energy about me, and I normally perform better when I'm in those moments. So I find it really weird. Like, you know, how can they judge you on a tape that you're not even like? But you have to kind of conjure it up.
And you judge yourself more, I think, on
so
self-tapes. Like when you go into an in-person audition, you do it, you're there, you leave.
That's it.
I think that was good, it might be bad. Self-tapes, you can watch them back and criticise yourself for like...
You're like, go again.
And I just think it's a bit more kind of like, out, done. Like, the power is given. As opposed to it being that kind of,
and then you sit there. I don't know about you guys, but I sit there going, oh, I didn't send the right tape. I should have done.
And you've done like 10 takes by this point, and you're like, I don't know which one I like now. Like, I don't know. Like, I try and get someone else to pick them for me, like, so then I don't spiral, because I'll be like, oh my god, this is terrible. What have I just done there? What is this eye flick? Or like, you know,
that's it. It's like, oh, why am I doing this as a career?
I know, it's so hard. Why do we do it?
I don't know.
No, we love it.
No, exactly.
No, I mean, I wouldn't give it up.
We do it because we love it.
It is really hard. Have you had any struggles in your kind of acting career? Like you said, you started 2 years ago.
I got so lucky at the beginning, but I also know that to get to that point, I feel like it was, I don't know how you guys feel about the universe. I believe in like things happen for a reason in the universe. I think great. We love the universe. Everything in those like 7 years or those years prior to leading up to finding acting, it felt difficult. It felt challenging. It felt like I was like fighting energy all the time. And then when I found acting, I did pretty much my first audition for this TV show, and a few months later got it. And I was like, oh, I literally had to like sit, listen, and be like, oh, so I'm meant to be doing this. Like, this is a new path, follow it. And so that kind of unfolded so beautifully and effortlessly, but also looking in reflection back on the years before, it was like, that was not effortless. Like, that was the hardest thing I've ever been through.
Well, exactly. Do you feel like you use, like, obviously you've been through a lot in the past. Do you feel like that's helped you in your acting career in terms of your emotions, your vulnerability?
I think so, because, like, unfortunately, and I think that one day I'll go back to, like, being in, like, an environment where I can learn and study. But I left school when I was, like, 13 because of being unwell. And I was in and out of school, but I didn't do my GCSEs, I didn't do my A-levels, and when I had the opportunity to then go to college, I didn't have like UCAS points to get a degree, so then I had to find funding for the diploma and then couldn't do that. So as much as I wanted to go to a school and train in dance and acting and singing and all the things that I loved, I wasn't able to. So then kind of having that experience in a weird way is like emotional education.
Yes.
And I can draw on it all the time. I can't really draw on the techniques and things because I'm still learning. I'm still learning those things. Yet emotion-based experience I have buckets of. So I can always kind of close my eyes and go to a time and kind of remember what that feeling felt like and try my best to express it.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to, like, when you connect to the feeling, to cut it off? Like, do you leave it at the door, or does it stay with you?
I think I'm quite good at bouncing back.
That's good.
But I also think I can be very easily affected. Like it can kind of feel like an emotional hangover.
Yes.
Like
you just need to drain it.
If you feel a bit hungover from that feeling, like it's not there intensely, and like, but it's like
it's
a
still
hangover.
a bit there.
I get that. I think it's great though that you are doing some technical training.
Absolutely.
Because that will 100% help you in terms of being able to tap in, tap out. Because you can't keep walking around with that weight either, you know, because it's just not healthy for anyone. But I think it's so great that that's been your starting point in terms of I can tap into my emotions easily. Because acting is all about the feeling.
Completely.
You know?
Completely.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, so that all happened just like a gift. Yet we finished season 2 in October of last year, and I've probably done a good 50 to 80 auditions, and it's all been like, no, we're getting really close, but no, and I think that I'm now in that kind of like, oh, so this is what it's like. And I'm getting tested on how much I love it. And I think the repetition of rejection has been constant since like October, which I know isn't a very long time, but like coming up to almost like a year of getting no's and staying and keeping going. It feels like that was needed, but it was needed afterwards.
Right.
I needed to have something to guide me into this finding. And then for it to get a bit tough and challenging.
Yeah. Do you think you wouldn't have stuck with acting then had you have not got that initial?
No, I think I would have. But I think that the fact that I have for about 10 years of my life, I felt behind. I felt like a late bloomer. That I always need to catch up. That happened quite magically. Almost took that catch up mindset away, and I now feel free from that. Which is like the biggest weight off my shoulders, because I've always felt apologetic on how far behind I am, or a lack of something that I have, like whether that's a lack of education or a lack of experience, like in like friendship groups and things like that I got to miss out on. That doing a show and being in that like community and having castmates and finding qualities about myself that I did want to improve, and then come back the next year for season 2 with all these like new flavors and newfound love and alignments. It was, I believe everything happens for a reason.
100%.
So now that it's a bit tough, it feels right. In a weird way.
And how are you coping with that rejection? Like, are you kind of just sitting in it, relishing it, moving forward?
Baths.
Nice.
Perfect combination.
I think it's really good to speak to people. I think that freelance creatives always will have doubt. I think it's human to have doubt when you're being rejected, and I think rejected is such a strong word, but not suited for that role. But I think that everyone's going to always resonate with that. When you're putting something so I don't know what a good word is, but vulnerable, like something so pure and like internal but surface.
You are showcasing a part of yourself
completely,
and then you're letting that be vulnerable to being rejected.
And you need to have that like thick skin of not letting that affect you. Yet that like the thinnest skin to be transparent on your emotions.
It's such a juxtaposition, isn't it? It really is.
How? Question mark.
It really is such a weird one. It's I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to navigate that, but I think it's all about finding the balance. We've spoken about balance quite a lot today.
Yeah, completely. It's all about balance. I'm
All
so
of it.
passionate about balance. I have a yin yang on my bum.
Oh, do you?
I love that.
Brilliant.
I love that.
Yeah, because I think that being a freelance creative, if there are things that you can do for yourself, so much of it is finding balance. It's learning to listen to yourself when you need a day off.
Yeah.
But also knowing that like you need self-discipline and you need structure and you need to like set yourself these like daily necessities or like I don't know. It's all about balance.
Would you say that you have a good sort of like self-motivation when you get up in the morning to do what you need to do, or would you say like it takes you a little while to get into it? Because not everyone is the same, you know. As freelancers, you have to be so self-motivated.
I was actually speaking to my flatmate Travis about this the other night, about trying to find a new source of motivation, because I used to find guilt as a motivation. I was very like guilt motivated because I would hate the consequence of feeling bad about not doing something. And now that I've like removed guilt from my life, I'm trying to find like almost a replacement for it.
Right.
Because like, yeah, I don't know, because sometimes when you're not feeling like doing something, the idea of feeling guilty about not doing it would drive me to do it. Yeah, that's not very healthy.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find that motivation in another form. Probably just passion or love would be the best ones, but it's not always that simple. Like sometimes you don't feel excited about going to an acting class or a dance class because you're nervous or you're insecure that day, or like not in a good period of thinking or feeling. So yeah, it's listening to yourself, yet also pushing yourself, having daily non-negotiables, like things that you have to do every day, whether that's like eating well or going outside or like human things that also then encourage groundedness in your creativity and your mindset with your like art, work and career.
We've always said, and we chat about this a lot, is that we get so hooked up on like our work when we're in the work mode. It's like this flow state, but it's like, for me, it's like an addiction. Like I'm constantly, if it's podcast related, producer related, locations related, whatever, I'm always like, I've got to do it now. I've got to do it now. No, stop. I've got to do it now. Now. And then I become like, I'm not stopping until I finish it. And then I look at the time and it's like midnight.
Yeah.
And my whole day's gone. I've not gone to the gym, or I've not gone for that walk, or I've not eaten, you know, and it's not healthy. And I'm trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
But I also have this
also
fear.
At the start of a new beautiful blossoming thing, and maybe your balance will be shifted.
Definitely.
But I also feel like it's a fear of missing out, like a FOMO that I have. Do you have this?
I do have this.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I
terrible.
definitely do have this.
I'm like, what workshop? What do you mean? Like, what's this new thing? And I'm like, why am I not
really
there?
Big what ifer.
Yeah.
Or
if I don't go to this, then I could have met someone here, or I could have got this opportunity or whatever, you know. Like you just don't know where life takes you.
No, you don't. But if you were meant to, I think if you were meant to go to the workshop, you would have gone. That workshop would have come up in your like Instagram feed or whatever, and you would have gone to it.
It's
like
true.
I try to detach from the what if as much as I can, apart from when you're acting, because what if
is prominent.
Exactly. But no, I try and just go, well, if I was meant to be there, I would be there. Or if I was meant to have that opportunity, I would have that opportunity. Not to say I don't actively look for opportunities and try and make my own opportunities. Like this podcast is an opportunity for us and for other creatives and freelancers. Not to say I don't try and make those, or have those, but I just think what is right will come to me. It will, and you have to believe that. You know, I can't spend my life wondering. And
so true.
Sometimes
it's just hard to see it, like when you're in that state and everyone's like, be positive, like keep your head up, like.
But that's also toxic positivity, I think. Like, yes, positivity mindset is great, but you have to be sad sometimes. You have to be annoyed sometimes. You can't always be happy all of the time. And I think social media doesn't help with that in terms of you only see like the really great stuff. And I think sometimes it can be toxic. So
it's true.
You know, you've got to sit in the sadness sometimes.
I agree.
You've got to sit in the anger.
I agree.
So
sadness and anger are big ones, I think.
They are.
Because I think they can become really productive and they can be shifted to change things. They're changing emotions. Like if you're sad and if you're angry, you have to feel those things to kind of realign the things that are making you feel that way.
Yeah.
If you were always happy, you probably wouldn't have growth.
Exactly.
So true.
Exactly. You can't get anywhere without having those ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot have a positive without a negative.
Balance, yin and yang.
Exactly.
It's coming back, guys.
Exactly.
It's coming back.
Full circle.
Literally.
What's the best part of being a freelancer for you?
Instinctively, I would say the people.
Yeah.
I think they're like the happiest highs of being able to be a freelance creative, like being able to work with people that have the same passion, determination and ambition, and that feeling where you all kind of look at each other like, this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, this is why.
Yeah.
I just think you can become a family with people in like 4 hours or like 4 days, and I think that's just so exquisite and special that that you can go from being strangers in like the morning of, and then by day 4 after a short film, they're all crying, saying goodbye to each other, feeling like brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So I think that's my favourite part of it.
Yeah.
I think also because I missed out on that people are definitely the kind of the most magical parts of my life now.
That's amazing.
So I think, but I also think that's why I like to collaborate a lot. Like I love paid work, but
Yes, of course.
collaborating and doing projects where everyone has a voice,
Yeah.
and everyone can bring something to the table, and money's not an element of it, but we're all just there like bringing our time and our energy and our love.
Yeah.
I love doing things like that. Yeah.
It's the best.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I think you have to love what you're doing, and you have to love it without the money.
Yeah.
You know, so that when the money comes, it's so much more rewarding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also I'm realising so much of acting is being unemployed. Like it's
100%.
either space between projects, or it's when you're auditioning for a project. Like it's so much of it is what can I do to make do while I'm trying to still go with my dream.
That's it. And I think that's why there's so many of us that are freelancers, because you have to have so many different avenues of income streams to make up for that time when you're not working.
You've got to diversify, find different niches, like what works, what doesn't.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all wish we were working all of the time,
Yeah.
of course, but you have to make the best of it whilst you're not quite there.
Yeah.
Completely.
You know?
Completely. You guys do so many different things.
Yeah.
Hurts my brain a little bit, to be honest with you.
Why?
Yeah. I think I personally don't quite know how it happened, but it did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just
That's
ended
kind
up
of cool,
doing
though.
all of these different things. And I think, because we both started being freelancers at the beginning of the pandemic, pretty much, wasn't it?
Oh wow.
Just before for me,
Yeah.
2019.
So, I was made redundant at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was like, I don't have any money. I had money, but like I didn't have an income stream. And I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go freelance. And then that was it. And then that's how I started being a freelancer. And then I just, luckily, in the pandemic, I had loads of time to learn all these new skills, like video editing, like audio editing, like learning how to be a great coach, all those kinds of things. Like, if I hadn't have had that time, as bad as the pandemic was, I think it was so good for me as well, you know, to have that time.
Gave you that breathing space to be curious.
That's
and
it.
learn.
That's it.
Yeah. I don't think I would have found acting without the pandemic.
The pandemic. No.
I think I was very much set still on my dream to dance.
Yeah.
And then just found something even greater than.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think the reason I love dancing is because not necessarily just the movement aspect, but the expression. Like I'm always going to be more about the feeling as opposed to the movement.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so if that's the most important part of dance for me, then that's really the acting of the dancing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's the transferable skill, really, isn't it? But I think acting as well is so movement based, a lot more movement based than I think you might most people think.
Well, your
it
body is your instrument, isn't
That's
it?
it.
So every character has their own quirks.
Yeah.
And way of
Exactly.
walking
They move
gesturing,
differently. So it's actually good that you've got that background. You already had a solid base in
the arts.
I don't think acting and dance is too dissimilar.
No,
they're just different.
they're one of the same.
Yeah.
And I really, especially with the audition process.
Yeah.
They are one of the same.
Yeah.
Which is lovely because like I guess you can resonate with everyone.
Yeah.
Like freelance creative wise, like it's not just actors resonate with actors and dancers resonate with dancers. Like everyone can resonate with each other.
Yeah.
Because we're all trying to do the same thing at the end of the day. Is
creating a feeling.
Creating feeling.
Okay.
Creating feeling.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone thinking about going into freelancing?
I know that we've said balance a million times, but I think balance is really important. But advice wise, I feel like I'm still navigating so much of what helps me, that giving advice feels a bit kind of like, ooh, but I can be personal and say what has helped me, but I think it is things like having a structure, having self-discipline, but also just knowing that if you are going to be a freelance creative, like you have to be obsessed and you have to be completely besotted with it. Like if there's something that you might prefer to do more, do that, because it does get really tough and it is really hard. Like don't deny that love. Don't deny it, and if you want to do it, then do it, follow it.
That's great advice.
It is great advice.
I've got goosebumps.
But I think if you don't believe in yourself, it won't work out.
No.
And you'll be fighting against it constantly.
So true. It's like a tug of war though with the belief, isn't it? Because everyone, it's so easy to say believe,
Completely.
but if people don't get into the mindset and channel that, it's like
because I think belief creates the things that you need to have as a freelance creative, like patience. I need that. No, but that's what I often lack is that I will say to myself I believe in myself, but then I won't be able to wait or have patience for something that I know will happen.
Yes.
If I have that belief, like it will happen.
Yes.
So have patience.
Yes.
So it's all a bit of a
I get where you're coming from. I often have like a bit of an existential crisis of like, is this what I should be doing? Why is this not happening?
Is this for
me? Am I
do people
doing
like what I do?
Blah, blah, blah. And
you just start thinking all these things, and it's not healthy.
It's not healthy. But then you have to come back to yourself and go, well no, I do believe in myself.
And I'm here for a reason.
It's that constant, it's never like a steady just, I believe in myself.
No,
it's like I believe in myself, I don't believe in myself, I believe in myself.
Completely.
You know, it's not just, you know, when people say self-belief, they don't ever mention that sometimes you won't have it.
No, completely.
You know, and I think you'd be weird if you did have it. Like all the time.
But that's the same thing with happiness. Like as long as I think your baseline needs to be like solid.
Yes.
Or that people can bring you to your baseline. If when you do have those dips, that there's a voice there that can say like
no, come
you'll
on.
get back to the belief. Like it's okay. This is just a
hiccup.
You're on your period.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's okay.
Just have a little cry.
Exactly. That's so true. Well, I think we'll come to an end on that, but we do ask our guests to do a little would you rather game with us. So it's just
would you rather game?
Would you rather?
Hey.
Would you rather live on a peaceful tropical island or a bustling big city?
A bustling big city.
Would you rather have to start a new job every year until you retire, or have only one job for your entire career?
A new job every year.
Would you rather spend your money travelling the world but have few personal possessions, or have a really amazing house but never leave your hometown?
The first one.
The first one, travel the world, 100%.
No, I think I already know the answer to this one, but maybe you'll prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Would you rather have to wear all black every day for the rest of your life, or have to mix every colour of the rainbow into your outfit every day?
Wear black every day.
What?
No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Oh my God, I was like, no, guys,
It's a joke.
this is a revelation.
Gosh, when I come in wearing all black, people are like, where's Margie?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Would you rather be able to talk with animals or speak every language?
Talk to animals, I think.
Yeah.
More friends. Oh, actually, no, but no.
Animals.
Would you rather always be 1 hour late or 1 hour early to everything?
1 hour early.
Would you rather be covered head to toe in tattoos, like as in neck down, or have one big face tattoo?
How big of a big face tattoo?
Like the whole face?
Like big.
Probably neck down.
Neck down.
Would you rather have to speak in rhyme or riddles for the rest of your life?
Riddles.
Oh my god, I'd be like, what? All day. Would you rather have more time or more money?
More time.
And would you rather be a freelancer or PAYE?
What's PAYE?
Like employed by a company.
Oh, well, obviously the first one.
We have an episode on that.
We do.
And lastly, we'd love people to follow you on your onward journey. So where can we find you on socials?
My Instagram is @alwaysmargie.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Well, you have been
thank you
an
guys.
absolute delight to talk to. It's been such a beautiful conversation with you, and thank you just for being so open and honest with us as well about your journey.
Thank you guys for inviting me on and for just being so kind with your questions and just making me feel really good. I'm able to be open.
Thank you so much. That's what we love.
Thanks for listening to
Not the 9 to 5 podcast.
If you liked this episode, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel, where we release weekly podcasts every Monday.
Comment below to let us know who you'd like to see next on our podcast.
Give this video a thumbs up and maybe share it with a freelance friend or two.
Until next week, everyone.
Keep freelancing.